The last cigarette is burning down slow, leaving nothing but ash for the wind to blow. I watch the pale column curl from the end, a ghostly white tower that tries to ascend. The light is too low for the clarity I need. I'm planting old heartache like a poisonous seed, and with every inhale, new vision takes hold. A story that's tarnished, a love that turned cold.
It's always smoke and memory when the clock hits 3. The ghosts in the air know how to talk to me. The haze in the bar takes the shape of your face, smiling back softly from a forgotten place. I try to touch the vision, but my fingers go through, 'cause the essence of the past is too fragile and blue. It's just smoke and memory, and it floats out of reach.
The air holds the ghost of a perfume I knew, a faint jasmine whisper though the night is through. I swear I can smell your cologne on the cloth, hidden deep inside this old woolen moth. I watch the gray ribbon spiral up to the roof, a delicate phantom, undeniable proof that the past doesn't vanish just 'cause you walked away. It lingers in the shadows at the end of the day.
It's always smoke and memory when the clock hits 3. The ghosts in the air know how to talk to me. The haze in the bar takes the shape of your face, smiling back softly from a forgotten place. I try to touch the vision, but my fingers go through, 'cause the essence of the past is too fragile and blue. It's just smoke, smoke and memory, and it floats out of reach.
I have to be careful not to breathe too deep, too hard. A single sudden movement could pull down every card. I'm terrified the window will open to the air and send the only evidence of you I have up there. It's my hand. The last of the vision dissolves across the land. I crush out the ember, leaving only the scent, a quiet moment that the darkness lent. And now I'm back in silence, just the wood and the glass, hoping that the morning will forget all that has passed.
But it'll be smoke and memory when the clock hits 3. The ghosts in the air will still try to talk to me. The haze in the bar will still hold your face, smiling back softly from a forgotten place. Just smoke and memory,
and memory. Headlights are cutting through the thick midnight haze. I've been driving for hours on these dead-end maze. The speedometer's humming, the tank is running low, trying to outrun a place where I just can't go. I check the rearview mirror every minute or two. I know he's still back there, though the glass isn't new. He doesn't need to breathe, he doesn't need a word. He's a silent witness that I'm terrified is heard. He's the man in the backseat, just a shadow and dust, the physical embodiment of everything I can't trust. He doesn't pay the toll, he doesn't touch the door, but he knows the real reason I'm here running for. He's a weight on the axle, the chill in the air. He reminds me of the thing that I left back there. I remember the moment when I let him climb inside, the instant that my conscience finally ran it hid. He's a ghost of the money that went missing in the night. He's a fear in the eyes when I turned out the light. He's wearing my failure like a cheap thin coat of skin, a permanent passenger that I can't seem to win. He knows the final answer to the question I won't ask. The darkness in the rear is just a poor cheap mask. He's a man in the backseat, just a shadow and dust, the physical embodiment of everything I can't trust. He doesn't pay the toll, he doesn't touch the door, but he knows the real reason I'm here running for. He's the weight on the axle, the chill in the air. He reminds me of the thing that I left back there. I slam the brakes hard, the tires start to screech. I leap out of the car, tearing out of his reach. I wrench open the door, spin around in the street, but there's only my suitcase and the space where we meet. He's not in the fabric, he's not on the floor, he's sitting right beside me, waiting for me to pour. just a shadow and dust, the physical embodiment of everything I can't trust. He doesn't pay the toll, he doesn't touch the door, but he knows the real reason I'm here running for. Backseat, leaving on, lean on.
The bartender's wiping down the counter, doesn't meet my gaze. He knows the kind of man that's lost in the permanent haze. I caught my reflection in the dark, cold glass, a truth that I can't let pass, no matter how fast. I've scrubbed the liquor from my fingers, shaved the weary beard, but the thing that I'm fighting is the thing that I feel. 'Cause when I look past the water, past the rim of the shell, I see nothing but a hollowness looking back at myself. I got eyes like empty bottles, clean and polished and bare, drained of the spirit that was once living there. They used to hold the sparkle, the fire and the light. Now they just hold the shadows of the long, lonely night. Nothing left inside me to mix up or to pour, just a clear, heavy glass that won't hold nothing anymore. The things that were spilled out weren't liquid and brown. They were promises I scattered all over this town. They were the easy laughter and the hope that I nursed. Everything that was good was the first thing to burst. Now I'm sitting here begging for a fresh, clean start, but there's no way to refill this tired, heavy heart. You can wash the outside, make the surface shine true, but the emptiness in the soul is a terrible view. I got eyes like empty bottles, clean and polished and bare, drained of the spirit that was once living there. They used to hold the sparkle, the fire and the light. Now they just hold the shadows of the long, lonely night. Nothing left inside me to mix up or to pour, just a clear, heavy glass that won't hold nothing anymore. I could buy the whole inventory and drink it down neat, but that won't bring the color back to the gray of the street. The whiskey only burns the throat, it don't mend the soul. It just leaves the window cleaner, proving you ain't whole. Tilting sideways, the chair is cold and hard. I'm picking up the pieces, holding the wrong damn card. I close my eyes tightly, wishing for the dawn, but the light that I lost, it is permanently gone. I reach out to touch the mirror where the empty man stays, and pray that the next day will erase the empty gaze. I got eyes like empty bottles, clean and polished and bare, drained of the spirit that was once living there. They used to hold the sparkle, the fire and the light. Now they just hold the shadows of the long, lonely night. Empty bottles, empty. The house lights are low, the last stool is free. Just one wooden whiskey left here for me. I take out the sixth string, the paint is scuffed and rough. It knows the whole story, knows I've had enough. It sits on my knee like a patient old friend, knowing the secrets that will never mend. I don't need to tell it what my trouble must be. could take. It sings of the woman, the dead and the shame. It whispers a sorrow of my forgotten name. Oh, the guitar moans in blue, and the silence listens well. I put the old slide on my finger of steel. Let the glass talk the language that only I can feel. It scratches the fretboard, a long ugly scratch, a symbol of the errors that I never could patch. The amplifier sighs out of breath of pure pain as I push on the vibrato, inviting the rain. Every bend in the string is a prayer I can't pray. It's the only honest thing I have left here to say. And the guitar's in blue, it weeps and it cries. It tells of the truth that I hold behind my eyes. It bends every note past the point of the break, a sound of the promise that I never could keep or could take. It sings of the woman, the dead and the shame. It whispers the sorrow of my forgotten name. I search for the words in the bottom of the glass. I search in the darkness, waiting for the night to pass. But the voice is broken, the throat is rough and dry. So I let the wood and the wire tell the reason why. The last drink is finished. The barman nods low. It's time to pack up and get ready to go. I loosen the strings, take the weight off the wood, and tell it, thank you, partner. You were truly understood. I put it in the case, snap the latches down tight, carrying the secrets out into the night. The guitar moans in blue, it weeps and it cries. It tells of the truth that I hold behind my eyes. It bends every note past the point of the break, the final sound of the promise that I never keep.
Last ice cube is gone. The glass is dry and warm. The storm inside has passed, left behind the calm. Gray light through the window, pushing past the blinds, collecting all the shadows that the lonely drinker finds. The bar stool feels like granite, the floor is cold and hard, waiting for the sun to call in the final car. The neon sign died maybe 2 hours ago, leaving just the silence and the truth I now know. The door knocks softly, she doesn't use the bell. She comes to collect the dark secrets the night made me tell. Shadows retreat from the warmth of her eye, leaving nothing but me and the reason why. It's a gentle intrusion, a whisper of dread, reminding the heart of the words that it said. Yeah, dawn knocks softly, and the price is the same. You lose the relief, but you keep all the shame. The haze in the air, the last curl of the smoke, the final heavy blanket of the darkness just broke. The world outside is moving, people starting to dress, carrying the burdens that they choose to confess. I envy the simplicity of their hurried clean start, while I'm trying to glue back the pieces of my heart. I wish I could hide, pull the darkness back down tight, but there's no way to outrun the coming of the light. The dawn knocks softly, she doesn't use the bell. She comes to collect the dark secrets the night made me tell. The shadows retreat from the warmth of her eye, leaving nothing but me and the reason why. It's a gentle intrusion, a whisper of dread, reminding the heart of the words that it said. There's one final shadow clinging to the heel of my boot, the stubborn little phantom of the bitterest root. It shrinks, it dissolves as the sun climbs the sill, leaving me exhausted, but strangely still. coat, and I check my worn face, ready to meet the light in this desolate place. I pay the bartender, he doesn't meet my stare. He knows what the morning means for the man sitting there. I walk out the door into the light and the dew, knowing the night is gone, but the blues are still true. But dawn knocks softly, she doesn't use the bell. She came and collected the dark secrets the night made me tell. The shadows retreated from the warmth of her eye, leaving nothing but me and the reason why. It's a gentle intrusion, a whisper of dread, reminding the heart of the words that it said. The last drink is poured, the lights dim down low. Time to face the cold air and the path where I go. I reach for the brim, the old felt worn thin, my only true armor for the shape I am in. I pull it down softly, right over my eyes, blocking out the harsh glare and the cold judging skies. It settles on my head like a familiar tired weight, the uniform of a man who left everything too late. 'Cause my head knows the dark, it knows every dead-end street, every empty corner where failure and I meet. It's felt the midnight rain, and it soaked up my despair. It knows the confession that the whiskey made me share. It hides a heavy burden that's written on my face, and it covers the silence in this lonely, desolate place. Yeah, my head knows the dark, and it won't tell a soul. We've sat on a bar stool in every forgotten town, heard every false whisper when the hope started drowning. It's been witness to fights that I didn't want to start, and seen the cold shadow fall over my heart. I found a torn ticket stub tucked deep in the band,
from a theater where I last held a beautiful hand. The hat saw her leave, saw the moment I broke, held a true answer to every lie I spoke. 'Cause my hat knows the dark, it knows every dead-end street, every empty corner where failure and I meet. It's felt a midnight rain, and it soaked up my despair. It knows the confession that the whiskey made me share. I could throw it in the gutter, leave it behind in the trash, but then where would I put the memory of the crash? It's the only honest witness, the keeper of the key, the only thing in this life that's still sticking with me. I lift the brim slowly, check the lock on the door, knowing I'll be back here when the night asks for more. I pull it back down tight, a final goodnight plea, hoping the shadow it casts is the only thing men see. I walk out to the cold, and I feel the brim low, taking every secret to the place that only we know. 'Cause my hat knows the dark, it knows every dead-end street, every empty corner where failure and I meet. It's felt the midnight rain, and it soaked up my despair. It knows the confession that the whiskey made me share. Knows the dirt, my only friend.
The glass is cold and heavy, resting in my palm is the only place I know that offers any calm. I watch the golden color catch the last fading light, then I lift it to my mouth to greet the lonely night. The burn fades fast, it doesn't even sting, 'cause I know the destination
that this liquid trip will bring. I close my eyes and wait for the familiar old road, the one that leads me back to the moment where I broke. It's more than whiskey now, it's a sip of yesterday, a ticket to the sorrow that I always have to pay. The taste isn't grain or wood, it's a taste of her goodbye, the sweet, sharp memory of the moment that she cried. It's the clock spinning backward just for a precious few beats, taking me to the moment where bitter became sweet. Back in that apartment, the curtains drawn and dim, I can almost hear the promise she made. Looking up at him, I see the red dress hanging on the back of the door, the shadows on the carpet I've searched for before. I hear the melody playing, the song that sealed the fate, the one I didn't listen to until it was too late. I reach out for the shadow where your hand used to rest, a beautiful, sad moment that I cherish and detest. It's more than a whiskey now, it's a sip of yesterday, a ticket to the sorrow that I always have to pay. The taste isn't grain or wood, it's a taste of her goodbye, the sweet, sharp memory of the moment that she cried. It's the clock spinning backward just for a precious few beats, taking me to the moment where bitter became sweet. I know the journey's brief, and I know I can't stay, I can't change the ending, no matter what I say. But I need to see the light just one final time before I face the wreckage of this desolate prime. It's a temporary haven, a fragile liquid dream, washing away the present in the whiskey's dark stream. The reflection in the glass starts to ripple and fade. The light in the apartment is slowly unmade. The cold comes back swiftly, the ice is long gone, and I know I've been returned to the place where I belong. The memory pulls back like the tide from the sand, leaving me here empty, the glass cold in my hand. It was more than a whiskey then, it was a sip of yesterday, a ticket to the sorrow that I always have to pay. The taste wasn't wood, it was the taste of her goodbye, the sweet, sharp memory of the moment that she cried. Yesterday, always stay. Main Street like a cheap neon sign. Feel the tension building on the back of my spine. I pulled up a stool at the far end of the bar. Don't need a fancy crystal to show me what we are. The amber fluid poured, slow and thick and deep. It costs a little money, but it puts the pain to sleep. I tip the glass back, let the fire start to climb, knowing what comes next every single time. Cause the water tastes like silence and the beer tastes like ease, but the whiskey, Lord, the whiskey brings me down to my knees. It ain't sweet like honey, it ain't smooth like silk. It burns right through the lies that I have always built. Yeah, the night is a liar, the moon is a lure, but I swear on a glass, whiskey tastes like truth. Full of shadows, but my conscience is bright, showing me the errors of that long ago night. The way I held my tongue when I should have been loud. Another promise broken, lost in the crowd. I look at my reflection in the mirror behind the shelf, seeing the fool who blamed the world, but it was just myself. I tried to forget you, I tried to move along, but the first sip tells me where I went wrong. Cause the water tastes like silence and the beer tastes like ease, but the whiskey, Lord, the whiskey brings me down to my knees. It ain't sweet like honey, it ain't smooth like silk. It burns right through the lies that I have always built. Yeah, the night is a liar, the moon is aloof, but I swear on the glass, whiskey tastes like truth. I pay good money for a temporary haze, but the devil in the bottle only clears up the maze. He sits right beside me, wears a cheap velvet vest, says you knew the score, man, you failed the test. And there ain't no hiding place, no prayer I can pray, when the fire in my throat washes all the shame away. Wiping down the last of the rail. He don't need my story, he can already tell that the man who walks in and drinks 3 fingers neat is wrestling the demons he can never defeat. I push the empty glass back and grab my one frustration sticking right in my throat. 'Cause the water tastes like silence and the beer tastes like ease, but the whiskey, Lord, the whiskey brings me down to my knees. It ain't sweet like honey, it ain't smooth like silk. It burns right through the lies that I have always built. Yeah, the night is a liar, the moon is aloof, but I swear on the glass, whiskey tastes like truth. Tastes like truth. Just a buck, just a burn. The air is thick with smoke and lies I couldn't tell. The only witness here is the bottom of the well. I'm nursing down a double, watching the ice give way, waiting for the darkness to swallow up the day. I haven't moved my feet for maybe 40 minutes past. I feel like driftwood that the river finally casts, and the single bulb above the pool table's glow casts everything I've lost right down here below. And the shadows across my boots, they walk without me moving, a slow, quiet reminder that the world keeps on proving that time moves slower when you're sitting all alone. Just scuffed up leather and a pile of gravel and bone. I'm stuck on this bar stool, paying the blues man's dues, watching the long, tired shadows across my boots. I remember the morning when the light was clean and high. I thought I had the answers written in the sky, but every hour since, the sun has bent and leaned till all that clarity is broken into me. There's dust on the leather from the roads I didn't take, and a scuff on the heel from the promise I did break. I could walk out the door, take the corner to the right, but the shadow of my guilt would follow through the night. And the shadows across my boots, they walk without me moving, a slow, quiet reminder that the world keeps on proving that time moves slower when you're sitting all alone. Just scuffed up leather and a pile of gravel and bone. I'm stuck on this bar stool, paying the blues man's dues, watching the long, tired shadows across my boots. ticking somewhere, but I don't hear the chime. I'm frozen in the amber of this forgotten time. The shadows are long and they feel like a net, catching all the things that I can't quite forget. Stacking chairs, the neon signs are dead. It's just me in the darkness and the things I haven't said. The light bulb flickers out, leaving only the door, and I can't even see the dust on the floor anymore. But I know the shadows waiting outside the glass, ready to join me on the lonely road I pass. And the shadows across my boots, they walk without me moving, a slow, quiet reminder that the world keeps on proving that time moves slower when you're sitting all alone. Just scuffed up leather and a pile of gravel and bone. I'm stuck on this bar stool, paying the blues man's dues, watching the long, tired shadows across my boots. Across my boots, just a shadow.
City lights are bleeding out across the window pane, just streaks of orange neon through the drumming of the rain. My glass is wet outside, though I ain't touched the ice. But the heat in this old room not worth the price. The door keeps swinging shut, every customer is gone. They rushed out to escape before the midnight storm was drawn. Now it's just me and the bartender and the rumble from the sky, waiting for the weather to decide if I can cry. This ain't just a downpour. This ain't just a downpour. This is a barroom rainstorm. Every crack of thunder is a moment I was warm. It's the rhythm of disaster. Rhythm of disaster. I already knew that the chaos outside is just a reflection of you. The air conditioning is rattling, trying to fight the chill, but my heart is a stone that is frozen, and still I trace the water running down the dusty glass, watching the reflection of the woman I used to pass. She looked stronger then, she looked like she could lead, but tonight the storm holds the fabric of the life I weave. I could try to rush out into the wind and the street, but the pavement is flooding, soaking up my top feet. This ain't just a downpour. This ain't just a downpour. This is a barroom rainstorm. Every crack of thunder is a moment I was warm. It's the rhythm of disaster. The rhythm of disaster. Hitting hard upon the floor, washing out the hole that waited outside the door. The sky's telling secrets that I already knew, that the chaos outside is just a reflection of you. I thought the roof would shelter me from feeling all this grief, but every single raindrop is a testament to disbelief. I'm trapped between the silence and the endless driving sound. The only solid truth is the sorrow I have found. Rain begins to slow, and I realize that soon I'll have to go. The puddles on the sidewalk are silver and flat, but the damage on the inside you can't wipe away like that. If the bartender nods, he hands me my coat, and the single truth that is stuck inside my throat. This was a downpour. This was a downpour. This was a barroom rainstorm. Every crack of thunder was a moment I was warm. It's a rhythm of disaster. Rhythm of disaster. Hitting hard upon the floor, washing out the hole that waited outside the door. The sky told its secrets, and now I finally knew that the chaos outside was just a reflection of you. The rain, the rain.
condensation rings, and the silence in the bar is a song that the heartache sings. I've been staring at this tumbler for maybe half an hour. Fingers mark the crystal with the residue of power. I had a whole lot poured when the sun was still high, but I stalled out here in neutral, watching the darkness fly. Now it's just the amber fluid sitting still and low, waiting for my will to tell me where to go. Oh, a glass left half full. Is it hope or the curse? A half-done surrender, or a man getting worse? Is this the moment of courage, where I finally stand up and lead? Or the warning of ruin that I just don't believe? Half full of forgetting, or half full of dread, a heavy cold question sitting right here by my head. A glass left half full, the battle is on the knife, deciding where I land on this shore. Wicked life. The bartender's wiping down the counter, doesn't rush me at all. He's seen 100 slow nights watching men stand or fall. He knows the secret in that brown, expensive flood. It's either a poison or it's the medicine for the blood. And the memory of her is waiting just below the brim. If I finish it off, the lights are gonna dim, and I'll call a number, say the words I shouldn't say, trading tomorrow for the comfort of today. Oh, a glass left half full. Is it hope or the curse? A half-done surrender, or a man getting worse? Is this the moment of courage, where I finally stand up and lead? Or the warning of ruin that I just don't believe? Half full of forgetting, a half full of dread, a heavy cold question sitting right here by my head. A glass left half full, the battle is on the knife, deciding where I land on this shore. Wicked life. They say that wisdom comes at a terrible price, but I'm paying twice the cost just to look at the ice. I know the answer ain't liquid, it ain't found in the burn, but I'm terrified of the lesson I'm about to learn. On the bar, didn't finish the liquid, didn't travel too far. I leave the decision right there on the shelf, a small victory I'm claiming just for myself. Maybe tomorrow I'll find the final drop, but tonight the weary cycle is finally gonna stop. Oh, a glass left half full is a warning, not a curse, a pause in the surrender, maybe not getting worse.
This is a moment of courage, where I finally stand up and lead a small piece of the truth that I gotta believe. Half full of sobriety, half full of sleep, a promise that I still be able to keep. Half full, just half full.
Bartender is gone, the final door is locked, and every tick of the clock feels carefully watched. Just me and the bottle on this stained piece of wood, with secrets that I never thought anybody understood. The neon sign flickered, barely holding its light, exposing the dust and the terror of the night. Whisper out a name that I haven't said in years, hoping that the air doesn't carry all my tears. But the dark corners listen well in this empty room. Catch every breath, every sign of impending doom. Shadows on the ceiling are not just dust and dim, they're holding all the details of the man I used to be. And him I'm afraid to move, afraid to clear my throat, lest the silence of the bar catches every word I wrote. Yeah, the dark corners listen well, look into the mirror, but I see past my face to the empty leather booth with the scuff marks out of place. I know what happened there, the handshake and the lie, moment that I sold myself beneath a judging sky. I came here for the comfort, the burn of the whiskey need, but the silence of this tavern is heavier than the street. I can feel the darkness leaning low against my back, waiting for the truth to drop into the barroom crack. 'Cause the dark corners listen well in this empty room. You catch every breath, every sign of impending doom. The shadows on the ceiling are not just dust and dim, they're holding all the details of the man I used to be. And him I'm afraid to move, afraid to clear my throat, lest the silence of the bar catches every word I wrote. Yeah, the dark corners listen well, and they won't forget. I could yell it out loud, screaming to the void, but the air would hold the fragments of the life I destroyed. The shadows don't need volume, they don't need a crowd. They only need the thought that's never spoken proud. Up slow, the chair groans a confession to the air. The corners watch my movement with a cold knowing stare. I push the empty glass back and grab my worn out hand. I walk out to the sidewalk, but I know where I'm at. The secret isn't trapped inside the walls of this place. It's painted in the worry lines right here on my face. Oh, the dark corners listen well in this empty room. They catch every breath, every sign of impending doom. The shadows on the ceiling are not just dust and dim, they're holding all the details of the man I used to be. And him I'm afraid to move, afraid to clear my throat, lest the silence of the bar catches every word I wrote. Listen well, everything. Sitting at the counter, facing the wall of glass, where the bottles shine like trophies from the failure of the past. I catch my own eyes quickly, a flicker in the dim,
And I see the man who's trying to stay respectable and trim. He's got a steady hand holding the glass of brown. The weight of the whole city can't seem to pull him down. He wears a cap of silence, a uniform of steel. He looks like he's got everything that a real man should feel. But I know the truth is poison, and the mirror is a friend who helps me fool the world right up until the bitter end. He shows me a survivor, a man who still tries, but the whiskey on my breath knows my reflection lies. He's wearing a mask of composure, a smile that feels cold, selling a story that's already been told. He tells me my finances are perfectly fine, that the woman who left is just crossing the line. He shows a face that hasn't cried in 30 years and pretends that his dignity outweighs his fears. He says you're still the victor, you're still in the race, but the empty space beside me gives the lie to his face. I lean in closer, trace the crack in the glass, hoping the real man, the ruined one, might pass. But I know the truth is poison, and the mirror is a friend who helps me fool the world right up until the bitter end. He shows me a survivor, a man who still tries, but the whiskey on my breath knows my reflection lies. He's wearing a mask of composure, a smile that feels cold, selling a story that's already been told. I wanna reach out and shatter the frame to finally reveal the true source of the shame. I wanna peel back the surface, the neat suit and tie, and show the trembling wreck that's standing here tonight. But the lie is safer, the image is clean, so I just sip the liquor and pretend I haven't seen. I wipe the steam off the glass with a slow, heavy hand. The lie that he's selling is a legend across the land. But his eyes, Lord, his eyes, they give away the scene. They're hollowed out and haunted tight. What might have been? I'm finished with the acting, finished with the part. It's time to take the truth and press it to my heart. And I know the truth is poison, but the
cold wind bites hard. Standing on the sidewalk, holding the final card. I drove all this way just to see your tired eyes, to offer a reason that the whiskey always buys. I didn't bring flowers, didn't bring a plea, just the fumes of the night I spent forgetting me. You opened the screen door, you didn't have to speak, 'cause the answer was already burning on my cheek. This is the bourbon breath goodbye, a cheap bitter truth, the flavor of failure on the wasted years of youth. It clings to my collar, it poisons my last word, the worst way to tell you that you deserve to be hurt. It stings in the air between us, thicker than the night, the final ugly reason why I never could get right. You didn't move forward, you didn't flinch or frown, you just looked at the suit that was wrinkled and hung down. You didn't ask how long, or why did you come. You just smelled the cheap answer on the tip of my tongue. I used the slow sipping to build a wall of stone, left you on the outside, always standing alone. And now the consequence, it comes with a terrible cost. The last thing you'll remember is the love that we lost. This is the bourbon breath goodbye, a cheap bitter truth, the flavor of failure on the wasted years of youth. It clings to my collar, it poisons my last word, the worst way to tell you that you deserve to be hurt. It stings in the air between us, thicker than the night, the final ugly reason why I never could get right. If only I could trade this taste for a clean final vow, but the promise is poisoned by the state I am in now. I tried to say I love you, but the words came out rough. The breath was too hot, and it just wasn't enough. Finally spoke softly, just a couple of words. Go get cleaned up and don't call. That's all I heard. You shut the screen door without a click or a slam, leaving me here to wrestle with the kind of man I am. I turn and walk away, feeling the cold on my back, and the ghost of that heavy scent follows down the track. This was the bourbon breath goodbye, a cheap bitter truth, the flavor of failure on the wasted years of youth. It clings to my collar, poison's my last word. The worst way to tell you that you deserve to be heard. That breath, my goodbye.
I left the bar lights burning, put my collar up high, stepped onto the sidewalk beneath a cold black sky. The bourbon is doing its business, trying to blur the pain, and the street lights are dripping like a cheap cold rain. My trench coat is heavy, the fabric is wet, carrying a weight I just haven't figured out yet. One foot in front of the other, that's the only rule I keep. Trying to convince the pavement that I'm not half asleep. This is a late night cold sweat, an accidental dance, a physical surrender to the cruel final chance. It ain't the wind that's pushing, it's the shadow of regret, making the whole world tilt for what I can't forget. Yeah, my compass is spinning, my feet don't know the way, just the rhythm of the stumbles in the late night cold sway. I pass by the window of a pawn shop's grim shine and argue with the ghost of a lover who was mine. I whisper all the answers I should have said out loud, but the liquor swallows words in the silence of the crowd. My reflection's unsteady, blurry on the glass, a silhouette of failure that struggles to pass. I laugh a soundless laugh at the fool I became, playing a walking blues game, whispering her name. This is the late night cold sway, an accidental dance, a physical surrender to the cruel final chance. It ain't the wind that's pushing, it's the shadow of regret, making the whole world tilt for what I can't forget. Yeah, my compass is spinning, my feet don't know the way, just the rhythm of the stumbles in the late night cold sway. The ground is unreliable, the sidewalk is mean, the cold is in my bones, blurring the whole scene. Every step is a victory, every step is a fall, wishing I could just stop and surrender it all. finally see my doorstep, the end of the line. Just a few more stumbles and the misery will be mine. I fumble with the keys, they chatter against the lock, but I know that the cycle starts again when the clock hits that early morning hour before the sun comes up. And I'll pour the next failure in a coffee-stained cup. This is a late night cold sway, an accidental dance, a physical surrender to the cruel final chance. It ain't the wind that's pushing, it's the shadow of regret, making the whole world tilt for what I can't forget. The coach sway, just a sway.